project, but you've done, you've lifted the hopes of a whole community of people, the 1 million people who represent the deaf community in the United States, who maybe have collectively just a couple of hundred units of housing that they could plausibly look to meet their needs. The gentleman to the right of me is Tom Pesedley, and Tom is the 20-year effort as the president of Arizona Deaf Senior Citizens Coalition to bring this housing forward. The other reason I wanted to say something is I'd like to introduce to you Mike Traylor, who's the director for Arizona Department of Housing. He was our MVP for this. Without Mike, this building would never have been built. And I think Mike has a message that's important for everybody about the fate of this project. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Eric, and truly the honor goes to you for having the courage, because all of you know how difficult it is in this country to build affordable housing, cobble together the funds that we need in order to develop affordable housing for people. As I tell my conservative Republican friends in Arizona who don't think we should be spending taxpayer funds to build affordable housing, I've done a little research, and in Arizona, 48% of Arizonans' income falls below 60% of very median income. So it seems to me that we need housing, because we all know that housing creates stability in families and communities. But if you're developing special needs housing, it's a whole nother level of complexity. And Eric hired Tom and deaf architects to make sure that it was a safe, barrier-free, and living environment for people of all special needs, but especially the deaf community. I've never been around many deaf people, so I was just amazed when I went to the groundbreaking of this project and saw how happy the deaf community was for this project. I went home and told my wife, I really learned something today. I never realized how isolated our deaf community feels in our society, but you can understand when you think about it how that happens. So, not surprisingly, there were over 100 people that were following the progress of this project, and as soon as it was open and ready to rent, there was a line of 80 deaf people waiting to get into this project. And as soon as the project was opened and populated, HUD decided that it was in violation of fair housing. HUD's local representative actually called the city of Tempe and emailed them and told them not to release the vouchers for the 15 low-income people that were living in that project. We had to force a meeting with HUD and the developer in the city of Tempe, and I asked the people from HUD, I said, has there been a violation here? And they did the two-step and said, well, there hasn't been a determination of a violation. I said, that wasn't my question. Has there been a violation here? They said, once again, there hasn't been a determination of a violation. I said, well, let me play your game then. Has there been a determination of a violation? He said, no. So I looked at the city of Tempe and I said, well, there's your answer. There has been no violation here, and if you don't provide the vouchers for this project, you're in violation. Unfortunately, HUD continues to inject themselves into this process, and this project has 15 low-income people living in it today that do not have vouchers. Cardinal Capital Management has been funding that on their own and will continue to do that until we get this resolved. Not surprisingly, about 30 days after that meeting with HUD, we were told that the Department of Housing is going to be audited for fair housing. Not surprisingly, they came up with several findings. We'll be hiring an attorney and going after them and joining with them, but the reason why we're here today and talking about this is this issue is greater than this project. If we're going to provide housing first for the chronically homeless, if we have 500,000 young adults with autism that are turning 21 and aging out of the public housing system and the public school system, their only housing today, only safe housing today is with their parents. So we're now working with SARC, our local group that deals with autism, trying to design a housing project specifically for people with autism. We're not going to be able to provide specific housing developments for people of special needs if HUD takes this position that you have to fully integrate everybody, because we've learned with the chronically homeless, if we put them in scattered site housing, they will leave and they will go back to the homeless shelter because they have nobody to relate to. And it's the same with the deaf. You go to Apache. I've been a home builder for 30 years before I got this job. And I think people have liked the housing that I built, But I've never had a customer tell me, I want to die here. I am so happy here, I want to die here. And that's what you'll hear from all the residents at Apache ASL Trails. So I hope that you all join with us and work with us in helping HUD understand that full integration is not fair housing. Fair housing is providing housing for people with special needs that addresses their needs and their issues and provides safe and decent living environments for them. Thank you.